If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. When you do, make sure you hit the notification bell. That means that you will be informed of when a new video has been released. If you would like to take that support one step further, you can do that via Patreon, which is an optional monthly service. You can donate money towards the channel, or you can go over to Ko-fi.com, and for the price of a coffee you can help donate towards the channel as well. Links for all of those will be in the description of the video, and without further ado, enjoy the video. All set?
Yeah, good here. Yep.
Happy days. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be listening and watching another episode of the Non-League Nosh. I am James. Sadly, once again, I'm not joined by Adam. The strains and stresses of work are starting to get to the big man, so it's just me on my own. Well, I say I'm on my own. I'm not on my own, because once again, I'm joined by another guest, a man who, in recent months, has probably been one of the people who has benefited most from the pandemic. It's safe to say. It is none other than SONAGE Gaming. How are you? You doing well?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem at all. How have you kind of found lockdown? Before we kind of jump into all the channel stuff and all that kind of stuff, how have you personally found lockdown? Because I know for a lot of people it's been an opportunity. Some people have really struggled with it. How have you adjusted to life?
Yeah, it's a funny one. I think everything that's gone on with the channel, it has kind of become a bit of an opportunity, really.
Right.
Obviously, going into it, and still currently, it's not my full-time job doing the YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, I do a job where I haven't been affected too badly.
Right.
And I don't know, in a weird sort of way, I've kind of enjoyed it. It just gives a bit of perspective as to, what's important, and getting the chance to do a few things that we've been planning to do for a while. Although at the moment I'm supposed to be on holiday in Europe currently, so obviously that's been a bit of a pain in the ass. But no, in a weird way, I've quite enjoyed it. And yeah, it's been nice to have the channel as something to sort of distract me
100%.
and Elliot, who I do the channel with, from what's been going on, and hopefully other people as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think to be honest, watching your videos has helped me out massively in terms of the light relief that you need from the kind of just getting through the day. But actually doing the channel that we have here has provided me with an outlet. 100%. It gives you something to focus on during the week. With the podcast that we have been doing, it's not normally what we do on the channel. My kind of background is filming and recording football matches and going along to non-league games, speaking to staff and players who wouldn't normally get the opportunity to speak, etc., and talking to them and doing interviews and stuff like that. So the podcast has really been helping me out. So I 100% get where you're coming from in that respect, because I suppose at the beginning, before all of this kind of kicked off, you might well have been thinking, well, what am I going to be doing with my day?
Yeah, well, it was really weird because this all kicked off. It wasn't more than a few days after the whole COVID-19 kind of hit us here in the UK. I can't remember the exact day, but it was definitely in March, and it was it was before everything had really gotten serious. Because I remember, because Elliot, who I do the channel with, he's Alan Smith among other characters in the commentary. Yeah. I remember when it sort of all blew up out of nowhere, really. For the first week or so, we were able to still record the episodes together in my studio at home. So right. It really was right at the very, very start, before everything sort of kicked off and went crazy like it has done in the last couple of months. So yeah, it was strange, the timing. It was almost, I don't know, almost meant to be in a funny sort of way that it came along, and it's really, really helped both of us to kind of get through this weird time.
Definitely. Now, what we normally do on the channel, and we're going to be doing this for you as well today, is we give you some quick fire questions to get into things. It's for our audience to get you to know you a little bit better, and I suppose for your audience as well, actually, for come to think of it, for them to, for people who have recently subscribed to the channel, for them to kind of get to know you. There's nothing too hard hitting in there, but let's just delve right into it. The first question: Chinese or Indian?
Indian.
Oh, Okay, you got one chance to redeem yourself: tea or coffee.
LT.
Oh no,
Okay,
no,
0 for 2. Sorry.
that's terrible. I'm sitting here with a cup of coffee, so dear me. Your favourite biscuit to dunk? What's your go-to?
Oh, bourbon.
Bourbon. Okay, yeah.
Nice, nice. When it gets hot, it gets all nice and creamy in the middle. But you know,
I've got to ask in as you're on here. What would Alan Smith's be?
you'd have to ask him. I don't know. Probably some sort of cracker smothered in a sardine paste or something like that.
Brilliant. Instagram or Twitter?
Oh, Instagram. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I guess there's more ways to spend your time in it, watching videos and all that sort of stuff. But I love Twitter for its interaction.
I think Twitter, to be honest, at the moment is just a bit of a political minefield.
It is. Yeah, I know. It's
The
it's
last couple of weeks have just gone absolutely mental.
yeah. The one thing I do respect about Twitter is that they tend to try and be as impartial as they can on reporting news stories,
Mm,
as far as I can tell. And also, I think it's nice when something's going on that you can kind of look at the trending topics on Twitter and you can get people's opinions in real time rather than sort of having an opinion forced down you from wherever you happen to be watching it. So
yeah. Yeah.
for that, yeah, but the political nature of it is yeah, it's been a bit much over the last few weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Favorite type of music? What you into?
Oh, a whole range. I actually for my full-time job, I'm a producer and sound engineer, so I spend a lot of
Oh
time
wow.
around music. Mainly the stuff I do is kind of, I guess, more acoustic singer-songwriter type things, but
Yeah.
I like anything, basically, as long as it's a good song. So that can range from rap to pop to blues to country to whatever, really. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Bit of a wide range there. Your favorite box set, movie for a TV program. So what kind of things are maybe as your all time favorite, and what you kind of watching at the moment?
Okay. All-time favorite, I think, is probably The Walking Dead. Uh,
Okay,
I
never
was
seen it myself. I have to
really
admit.
okay. Yeah. I haven't caught up with it quite so much recently. I feel like it's yeah, the last couple of seasons I haven't really been quite so into.
Hmm.
But that I'd say probably is my all-time favorite in terms of like watching. I've been binging New Girl a lot on Amazon at the moment,
Right.
which I think is great. And I've also been really enjoying the Sunderland Till I Die documentary series,
Oh
which has
yes,
been really good fun.
100%. Just to get the kind of, I mean, I know it's an absolute mess up there, but just the ins and outs of how a football club, I suppose, shouldn't be run. It's
Right.
fascinating.
Oh, yeah, I love that sort of thing. I also really enjoyed the All or Nothing Man City documentary series that they had on Amazon. I thought that was great. It's just
Oh,
really interesting. I especially loved about the Man City one being able to see the dressing room atmosphere and the dynamic of how it all works with the players and Pep and everything like that. So yeah, I love a good sports documentary series. I haven't seen the Michael Jordan one yet though, The Last Dance, which I really need to get into.
no, I know every guest that comes on recommends that, and I'm just like, yeah, I will get into it. And then my son will just do something, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't start watching this. He's just gonna, he's not gonna allow me to watch it. Bless
Yeah,
him.
sure.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, that's really tough. I have a dog currently, but I grew up with cats in the family, so I would say
Mhm.
it's a draw. Is that allowed?
Yeah, we'll give you that one. We'll
Okay.
give you that one. We'll allow that. I'm exactly the same, to be honest. I grew up with two cats and two dogs,
There
so
you go.
I can't really pick between them, to be honest. Other than football, what's your favourite sport?
To be honest, I don't really watch that much of other sports. I really like Wimbledon when it's on, but I can't say I'm a big tennis fan. I watch cricket sometimes with my dad. Um, so I guess one of those two really. But to be honest, football's the only sport that I really am invested in and know much about.
No, that's absolutely fair enough. Uh, well, I always ask this question, but I know what the answer is going to be. It's FIFA or Football Manager.
It's a funny one actually. You should ask that because it's hard to say. I do love a good football manager game.
Good
I haven't
man.
been playing it quite so much at the minute because I haven't had much time on my hands. But I really love getting invested in a football manager game. I don't know. Again, I say probably a draw. If I'm if I go away to America quite a lot with work, and I love on a long flight having a laptop open and starting up a football manager save and continuing that as I go through the journey. But then,
Oh, 100%.
uh,
You could easily crack a whole flight out on Football Manager, and you
oh
wouldn't
yeah.
even know that you've been on the plane.
Oh no, I have done very, very often in the past. But I suppose FIFA is the thing that's kind of been uh, taking off recently. So at the moment, I'd say FIFA.
Yeah, definitely. Football related stuff now, and this has actually been a question from one of the Twitter questions. We had Jack Carroll who asked, part of one of his questions was on there, and this is always one we ask: who do you support?
Well, I'm a Man United fan, which is probably going to alienate half my fan base. But I got it from my dad, who's been around for ages, and he was around during the Munich air disaster, so I started following him from
Right.
there. And I feel like football's a very father-son type of thing, so I just
Mm-hmm.
inherited his team, really. So yeah,
That's absolutely fair play. Your favourite player growing up?
Ruud van Nistelrooy, loved him as a
Yes.
striker for United. Yeah, uh, him. Ryan Giggs was always a favourite of mine as well. Paul Scholes, obviously. I mean, the standard United legends. But I think Ruud van Nistelrooy was always my favourite player growing up.
Would you say that he's underrated?
I think he's beginning to get less underrated. I think
Yeah.
the more like football Twitter accounts and stuff throwing up his statistics and goal scoring ratios. He was an outrageously good striker.
Mm.
I always remember my best friend from childhood was a big Arsenal fan, and he obviously was always on the side of Thierry Henry. I was always on the side of Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think there was a little while where you could sort of make a reasonable argument for either one of them being better than the other. I think probably, through history, Thierry Henry has probably achieved more, and I'd say was maybe the greatest player. But Ruud van Nistelrooy is an out-and-out number 9 goal-scoring striker. I think was an amazing player, and yeah, I'd say still slightly underrated.
Yeah, definitely. We had Chris Taylor on the channel recently. He was part of the Manchester United academy.
Yeah.
Back at the time when Ruud van Nistelrooy was there, and he said that he's the best player that he's played against in training because you just could not mark him.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like he struggled against him. So
he's just incredible. His movement. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his link-up play as well because in lockdown, as we've had a lot of time on our hands, I've been delving back through the Sky Sports Premier League years archives and all that sort of thing, and some Man United highlights and stuff. And yeah, he was remarkably good at kind of linking up the play as well before it got to him in a move. I think he doesn't get quite enough credit for that. No, fantastic player.
100%. Best player you've seen live?
Cristiano Ronaldo, probably. Yeah, saw him a couple of times for United. We had a wonderful treat. Me and my dad one day we went along and got to stand in the commentary booth at Old Trafford for a Man United game against Liverpool. It was in the Premier League when we won 3-0. Mascherano got sent off, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored a header from a corner, and that was a wonderful memory. We also went to see them in a pre-season friendly, I think, at the beginning of that season, and we played European 11, and Ronaldo scored the most outrageous free kick. Cristiano Ronaldo, I'd have to say.
Definitely. Great answers in there. I like some of those. It was a bit ropey at the start for me. I'm a Chinese and coffee man myself, but we'll allow it. We'll absolutely allow it. No, cheers for that one. Let's before we kind of get into your channel, I just want to get your kind of thoughts on the fact that football is back at the moment. It looks like the Premier League is starting to return. Mm-hmm. Also, Championship football looks like it's kind of on its way back, etc. From my perspective, obviously being a massive non-league fan, our season is over. It was over quite a few months ago, to be honest, when they made the decision to cancel entirely. But from your perspective as a Man United fan, are you looking forward to football coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be stupid to say I wasn't. I do think it's been handled fairly badly. I mean, like you say, with the non-league football just sort of having the season called to an end very abruptly. It's plain to see, I think, that the Premier League takes priority, obviously, just because of the money it earns. I think is the way that it's been looked at, which I do understand. But I do feel bad, for some of the other teams. I know, talking of YouTube football and stuff, and Spencer owning his #United Boys, who are now a non-league team, and
yes,
a lot of stuff on Twitter from him and other people, saying about how unfair it is, and I do totally agree with that. I also think, I don't know, it's funny. The Bundesliga returning was a weird one because I watched the first game when that came back, and seeing the substitutes sat like 3 seats apart from each other in the stands with masks on, and no crowd. It was odd, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't immensely looking forward to the Premier League coming back.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be effectively like a World Cup for the Premier League, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
games after game after game after game every single day. It's going to be a bit of an overload, really, isn't it?
it is. My wife is not happy that it's coming back so soon.
I
But
can imagine.
yeah, no, but I'm really looking forward to it. The fixture list looks very tasty, and I like that there's some matches being aired on the BBC as well, so that everybody can
Yeah,
get them.
that's it. My team is. I'm not. I'm just going to throw it out there. My team's Norwich. Always has been from the get go. So I'm not really sure how I feel about it, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird one because obviously, if we do perform the Great Escape, then it's kind of justified. But the only thing that kind of gave me any sort of slimmer of hope was the fact that we had home advantage for most of the games that we had, and without the crowd there, it kind of takes away that element of that slight glimmer of hope that something could be achieved. But I don't know.
I know it's going to be a weird one. I mean, I've heard talks about them potentially implanting FIFA crowd noises for the broadcasters and stuff as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it's like when it does come back. But I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Pogba and Bruno finally linking up for United as well.
Maybe you can do some commentary for him. You never know.
That would be a dream come true. Yeah.
I tell you what, let's get right into the channel. That's what the crux of everyone's coming here for. Let's start talking about it.
Okay.
First of all, before everything kind of exploded 3 months ago, before your channel really took off, let's go right back to the very beginning.
Okay.
Before the channel was set up, what kind of gave you the idea to start YouTube? Where did that kind of first seed in your mind come from?
It's a strange thing. I've always, for my entire life, remembered making videos. It's hilarious. We discovered loads of the old Hi8, family camcorder home videotapes ages ago.
Right.
Even from like the age of sort of 2, all I wanted to do was hold a camera and just film stuff and make videos. So it's always been something I've done. I also do it as a job. As I've progressed through, part of my job in the music industry is filmmaking, so I direct music videos and documentaries and live sessions and all that sort of thing.
Wow.
But YouTube's always been something that I've wanted to do. It's funny, I discovered again a horrendously old YouTube channel of mine that I made. I think when I was about 12. This was before YouTube was owned by Google. It literally just started out. And even then I was putting videos on YouTube of like hitting targets on goals with a football and stupid stuff like that. So it's always been something I've done, I guess.
Wow.
And then
so there's a channel before this one.
Yeah, there is. It's so embarrassing that I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's also very embarrassing because it's so old that this was before the time that you even needed an email address to sign up to YouTube.
Yeah.
So all you had was a username and a password, and I just cannot remember the password. I've got no way of getting into this account. And there's some horrendously cringy stuff if that ever materializes online. But yeah, so it's always something I've done. And the SONAGE gaming channel basically started because I've always played football video games and bits and pieces. So I started this channel ages ago. And I guess it's probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have thought. And
okay.
OG SONAGE gaming subscribers might remember a series I did called Getting There Slowly, which was an Ultimate Team series where I started off with the slowest possible team and tried to make my way up through the divisions online and stuff.
Right.
So I've been doing the channel for a few years, and then I met Elliot a few years ago, and he is a brilliant impressionist, as you've heard from the videos.
Yes.
And a hilarious comedian. And so with my background in filmmaking and stuff, we started doing little comedy skit videos and stuff that he put on his socials. So we did loads of stuff. We did a faux Louis Theroux documentary, various other stupid bits and pieces, a Dragon's Den parody and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
Then we decided one day to do this stupid FIFA thing. We initially got the idea from my stepbrother and I, who on Pro Evo back in the old PS2 days would create teams of the most outrageous people we could possibly think of, Pablo Escobar and Raul Moat and all those players.
Right. Okay.
Now, so when we were thinking of doing videos on FIFA, Elliot obviously does a great Alan Smith impression. He does quite a few other people as well, and so we thought it'd just be funny to create Heaven versus Hell and commentate on it. So we did, and initially, actually, we stuck that on Elliot's social media. I just uploaded it to SONAGE Gaming, at which point I hadn't actually uploaded anything to the channel in, I don't know, quite a while, just to have it.
Well, that's the thing, because obviously doing my kind of research into the channel before you came on, a lot of the videos I would imagine have either gone private or they've been deleted, because the first one that I found was a Barcelona signing Father Christmas, Jesus and Pitbull, and then all of a sudden it then goes into these two videos, and it says they were really uploaded 2 years ago.
That's right. Yeah. So I did make a load of the old videos private on there just after everything blew up, because it was two reasons really. First of all, I guess there's a bit of mystery about my face and who I am and all that sort of stuff that is quite good to keep I don't know, a little barrier or something to reveal at a later date. But it also, a lot of the content I was doing then is quite different to the stuff now, and so it just seemed like it would, I don't know, distract people or something. So anyway, but so that's right. So that video you just said, that was the first of the celebrity FIFA videos, I suppose me and Elliot did all that time ago. And it was funny because at the time it was also picked up by a load of Facebook pages and stuff. I think it was on Sport Bible, and so when it was first uploaded, we had about 3 or 4 million hits across social media when it was first done. Then
really
randomly at the time I was in LA, and and that's when it was going mad. So we didn't really push it, and then Elliot moved to Canada for 2 years straight after we did all that.
Right. Okay.
So it meant that obviously we were talking all the time, but we couldn't really do videos. And plus, it wasn't something that, although it did really well on other pages, it didn't really reflect, because Elliot was sort of doing his comedian stuff on his socials, and it didn't really reflect in very significant numbers for him. And he doesn't really, it's funny, Elliot doesn't really like being in front of a camera or anything necessarily. So he decided that he didn't sort of want to pursue that. And so when he was in Canada, it kind of, we didn't really do anything with it. And then
naturally kind of finished in effect for him at that particular time.
Yeah. And it wasn't for the lack of wanting to do it or enjoying it or anything like that. It was just, he was in a completely different country, in a different time zone and all that sort of thing. So then he got back towards the end of last year. And then so he, because back at home where I live in Oxfordshire, we only live about 10 minutes away from each other, 10-minute walk from each other.
Nice.
So, and we only met in the first place because both our wives are school friends, so they've known each other for ages and ages. So he was back and we were seeing each other all the time. And then obviously in March, that's when everything got picked up again, and it just gave us the chance to dive right back into it because we enjoy it so much. It was really nice to sort of have a reason, because even in times when he's been back here and before everything sort of went mad in March, we created these teams and we're just playing each other on FIFA in our spare time with the teams anyway, and like doing modes and stuff and all that sort of thing.
Really?
So it's been really nice because it's basically something that we do in our spare time anyway. This sort of stuff.
So you may or may not be able to remember, but the two videos, the Chuck Norris Samuel Jackson one, the Hitler Fritzer one, what kind of views were they on before the channel just went absolutely mad? Do you remember?
Less than 2,000 views each, I think.
That's insane, really. When you think about what kind of numbers they're on now, that's just incredible.
Well, I mean, it was really, really mad how it all came about, because there's a guy, he's called Ty, and I think he's a bit of a FIFA sort of community member on Twitter, and he was researching into old FIFA videos to make a compilation of, you know, back when FIFA was great or all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he just stumbled across, I don't know how he would have found it, I honestly don't. He just stumbled across the video, got like a minute long clip or whatever it was, and stuck it
Yeah.
on his Twitter page and was like, you know, these guys commentated like a celebrity FIFA game, and uploaded it to his Twitter. And for whatever reason, it just went absolutely mental. And this was, so I think he's based in America. So when he stuck it on his Twitter, I think it was like 1 or 2 a.m. in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And the SONAGE Gaming Twitter account, I hadn't even logged into for like 2 years. I mean, I
Do you
hadn't
know,
touched.
I was just about to ask you that because you had barely posted on there
Yeah, no,
at all.
I hadn't logged into it for ages. Like, and I
Yeah.
didn't even, you know, on the Twitter app on your phone, where if you've got multiple accounts, you can
You
click.
can flick between them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't even have it on there. It wasn't like, I just obviously wasn't doing it anymore. And so randomly, my brother, who lives in London, I don't know why, he woke up in the middle of the night about 2 a.m. for some reason, and just looked on his phone and looked at Twitter, and saw Raoul Moat trending in the UK. Like, so he was like, "What the f- is this?" And looks on it, and then it was all of these people replying to our video. So so because I was asleep at the time, obviously he was texting me and trying to ring me, but I had my phone on do not disturb, and he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, Sonny, just like, it's going mad, please call me, what's going on?" So I woke up in the morning, and it was my sister had talked to my brother and rang me. It was probably about 9 a.m. I can't remember, I think it was a weekend, I'm not even sure. And she was like, "Sonny, you have to go on Twitter now, it's going absolutely crazy, like people have discovered your old videos." So I logged in, and it was like, I've never experienced anything like it. So the video that Ty uploaded, I think, sits now on about 2.6 million views or something on Twitter. And it just went crazy. Like the amount of people that were retweeting it, I mean, it went everywhere. It was trending above coronavirus in the UK for a little while.
Yeah.
Part of everything. And then I think somebody had obviously seen it was going crazy and found that other video you're talking about with Samuel L. Jackson and all those people.
Yes.
Got a clip of that and uploaded that to their Twitter, and then that went mad, and that's had like 2.5 million hits or something. And so for a good period of about 48 hours, it was just sweeping through, and then it got uploaded. It was on the Give Me Sport Facebook page. They've got about 25 million likes or something. It was on Sport Bible. It was on so many of these like massive profiles, and so because of that, I was getting all these notifications and people messaging saying, "You have to do this more. You have to make a comeback," and blah blah blah. And so obviously because Elliot was back in the country and we were so close to each other, we could facilitate it very quickly and get it done. And it's just sort of gone from there.
Because that's where I first found you. I don't even know who retweeted it onto my timeline, but I remember seeing that initial one, and I've got it right in front of me, the Thai initial Twitter post.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny. I was like, I've got to know who these guys are. Literally scrolled down a couple of bits and they said, "Oh, here's a link to their channel."
Yeah.
Went over there, and honestly, it was like going back to the old days of FIFA when I first started watching YouTube, you know, like the KSI skits and the FIFA funny moments and all this kind of stuff like that. I was just like, oh my God, this is just taking me back to like my early teens. This is incredible. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on YouTube. And it was just absolutely mad that this was done 2 years ago. Like, where the hell have these guys been? Like, they must have known that this was really funny. Like, you know, back then when you were only on like the 3,000 views or around about that kind of marker,
yeah.
Did you kind of know what you had done? Did you think that it was actually something that could potentially go somewhere if the circumstances kind of aligned?
Yeah.
To continue, or
yeah, it was something that, I mean, I guess with any of anyone's work really, we believed it was good.
Yeah.
And I mean, having Elliot is such an amazing thing because he's just so good at the impressions and so funny. And so, yeah, in terms of like the sort of memeable nature of it, we did think it was something that could have done well. I remember at the time, you know, like I said, when it was on Elliot's socials, when it was very first uploaded, it did get picked up by quite a few channels and stuff. And it's one of those rare things where, you know, I work in creative industries and stuff anyway, and it doesn't matter what you do, you always tend to get some sort of negative feedback on something, whether it's a, for me personally, whether it's a video series I've made or a TV program or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
It was the only time I can really remember where I was searching through everything and couldn't find any negative comments.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds stupid, but I don't know. It was really insane. So we definitely believed in it. I guess at the time the circumstances just weren't right with Elliot moving away, and everything else really. And so when it got picked up, it was really weird, even with the timing that it did get picked up, because I was only a few days before I was round at my mum's house with my sister, and we were watching some old SONAGE gaming videos.
Right.
And I was just like, oh man, I would really love to still do this. It just, before this kind of took off, I mean, even back when I was uploading regularly for a few years when I first did it, the videos didn't ever get more than, a few thousand views. And it was just something that took up so much time. And even though I really, really loved it, I just couldn't commit to doing it because, I wasn't making any money off it. And I'd get back from work and do a video until I went to bed and then go to bed. And so I wasn't seeing my wife or anything like that and all that sort of thing. So the fact that it did blow up was wonderful, because it's given me and us a chance to revisit it and do something that we really love.
Yeah. So do you remember like the first conversations that you two had then about restarting this up? How did those kind of conversations go? Was it, let's do something along the similar sort of lines and let's just brainstorm some characters, etc.? Or what were your kind of initial conversations together about how you're going to kickstart this thing again?
Yeah, it was sort of that. Yeah. Because obviously I guess we realized that the formula was working. So yeah, I mean, again, obviously all this stuff was going on and Elliot had no idea. So I called him in the morning and was like, holy shit, this is absolutely blown up.
Yeah.
And so we were like, when can we get together? When can we make more of this? Because it was one of those things, isn't it, with social media? You have to strike while the iron's hot. And if you 100%. Don't get in there, things very easily sort of fall by the wayside, and that's it. So I knew that we had a window of about 48 hours basically to get something else out and tell people, oh, here we are, we're back, to keep people's interest going.
Really?
So I think it was even that night or the following night that we met up. Yeah, it was the following night, because obviously I'd sold all my gear, my game capture and stuff to record gameplay with when I sort of stopped doing the channel. So I had to I had to go on Facebook Marketplace and find an Elgato in Swindon, which is about an hour and a half from where I am, drive to get it, drive back, set everything up, all this. But yeah, so we made it work. And the only very frustrating thing when it was all going on, in the first video that we uploaded to come back with, it had obviously been built up on Twitter loads and everybody was really anticipating it. And then I uploaded it and I was like, it's going live in a bit. And it got copyrighted by the Premier League because they thought the footage was from a real Premier League game.
No.
So that was a real piss off, because right at the start I was like, oh no, we're going to lose all this momentum and everything. But luckily I re-uploaded it and it for some reason, I mean, it was the exact same video and it didn't get copyrighted. I don't know what happened that first time. It was really weird. But yeah, and then that did well. And then we had to take a bit more time doing the Heaven versus Hell rematch.
Yeah.
Obviously the subject matter is a little bit more sensitive, so we had to be careful with that. So that was the video that followed after that. And that did really well. And so then we were brainstorming ideas about how we should continue doing this. And so we thought, well, let's do a celebrity FIFA Cup where we create, 8 teams of celebrities or characters that revolve around certain themes.
Yeah.
So it's just gone from there, really. Yeah.
Because of the sort of like the success and how things had blown up online, how nervous were you about uploading that first video? Obviously, I know the kind of initial issues you had about that we, just found out about it.
Yeah.
But what were your kind of feelings when you were uploading that video? Were you excited to kind of get things kickstarted again? Did you think that this could be the start of something, or were you kind of really nervous that maybe people wouldn't react to this one as well as they have done with these other ones?
I was honestly only just excited, to be honest. I mean,
yeah,
it was. I love doing it so much. It's just so much fun, first of all, and so the fact that loads of people had picked up on it was obviously a huge bonus. But the fact that it gave me and Elliot an excuse to start doing it again, which is, I mean, it's something that we both absolutely love to do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just great fun. So yeah, I was only excited. I mean, I wasn't really thinking, what if it doesn't get as many views and all that sort of thing. I was just excited to get it out there. I mean, it was amazing because with everything going off, the subscriber count on the channel. I mean, I think I had 2,000 subscribers at the point it all went off, and then within the space of, I don't know, a few weeks, I was up to 20,000.
Which is crazy. That's a hell of a jump, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it was just excitement really, and excitement to do it all again. And that's at the beginning when we were saying about lockdown, the timing of it, incredibly. Obviously, it's been a horrendous time for the entire world, but the fact that for both of us it happened at the start of lockdown meant that we could both commit the time to doing it properly.
Yeah.
Which I guess has worked as a real bonus to us too.
Yeah, definitely. Then, as you said, the kind of celebrity FIFA kicks off, and absolutely monumental series as well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've watched every single one of your videos. I've been hooked ever since I found out about the channel. The celebrity one went down really well. Yeah. How much timing and effort did it take to get those kind of things planned? Because we sit there and we watch a 10, maybe 15-minute video.
Yeah.
But for you guys making it, and obviously I'm aware of the editing process for the videos that we do, but how much effort goes into getting those videos spot on, like the names on the back of the shirts, the characters you're going to choose, the visuals that you're going to be doing, the audio, the jokes.
Yeah.
How much goes into each episode, would you say?
Yeah, it is an incredible amount of work. With the World Cup, the thing that took the most time was creating the players. I mean, it's incredibly time consuming. I didn't even realize myself going into it, but that's the reason we did 16 teams rather than 32 as a regular World Cup would be, because I guess because we had to create the squads from scratch. Averagely, I'd say for a squad it takes about an hour and a half. So if you times that by 16, that's how long it took to just create the teams. So that was the most painstaking process probably. The actual recording doesn't really take that long. Amazingly, I mean, we just do it all ad lib, so we don't come up with any scripting or anything beforehand or anything like that. We just go with it. So
none of the jokes are prepared at all. None of the potential punchlines.
No. I mean, we might have a conversation about something rather we might want to mention, but no, the vast majority of it's just on the fly.
Wow.
So it helps. I mean, Elliot's so quick. He's so good with the jokes and coming up with the one lines, and even the sort of rough storylines that have now progressed with Alan Smith, and his sandwiches and all this sort of stuff. It was all just completely on the spot, made up, and people seem to take to it, so we've kind of ran with it.
That's incredible, because I would have thought, especially some of the lines that come out and some of the character references that come up, that must be right. Here's at least 2 jokes that we've got for each kind of person. So if anything does come out, this is potentially some ammunition that we've got. But just to hear that, from yours and from Ellie's perspective, that's all kind of made up on the spot, it's just that's absolutely blowing my mind.
I mean, I think that's part of what makes it appealing in a way, and what makes it work. Because I think if we tried to be a bit too, I don't know,
scripted,
then you'd lose that spontaneity. And we try to make it as much like a real match as we can in some ways, obviously. So yeah, I mean, it's great. We've had a lot of great help. So for the World Cup, and the Celebrity FIFA Cup, all the kits are designed by this amazing guy who's on Twitter called Buster, and that's he does an amazing job. That's one thing. So what we did early on was move to I've got a PC that luckily we can play FIFA on, and you get loads more customization options with a PC, so you can change the kits, and you can, if people make faces for the celebrities, you can put real faces on and stuff like that. So that just gives it that.
Right. Okay.
So he does a great job with the kits. He's awesome. But yeah, so I think creating the teams is probably the most time consuming bit. The editing does take a while. The one video of the World Cup that really did take a long time was the first of the kind of roundups that we did at the end of the first week of group stage games, because we had to squeeze in it was 6 games that we had to do, and we kind of recorded them all back to back. And so getting everything prepared for that one, that took a long time.
Yeah.
But it's all so much fun, and it's also worth it. And plus, we're in lockdown. What else are we going to do?
I suppose one of the questions I was going to ask, but I actually found out on one of the, because I saved the last 2 videos that you've done for today so that I could get in that mindset of what the videos are before I went on. But you actually answered one of the questions during your commentary, but you guys don't play the game. Is that right?
No, we did. But it's obviously we can't at the moment because we can't be in a house together with lockdown rules. So to start with, the games were literally us playing against each other. One of us is one of the teams and one of us is the other. But obviously we physically can't do that at the moment. So we just get the computer to simulate the games for now. I think once lockdown's over, we'll probably go back to playing the games. It depends though. It depends what everyone wants us to do, what the viewers want, because it does add that extra bit of, I don't know, you can't force what the computer does. Whereas, when we're playing each other, I suppose you can in some sort of way.
Because I suppose from when you're allowing the computer to play it, that then gives you more opportunity to do, the commentary, because you're not having to concentrate on 2 things at once. You are literally just watching a game of football as if you were watching it on the TV, and you are just talking to your mate.
Yeah. So
as opposed to having to, do everything else at the same time.
Yeah, right. Well, in terms of the workflow, what we always do is we record the games first and then commentate on them.
Right, okay.
Live. So we always record the match and then we watch the match back. At the moment, obviously, we're doing it. Elliot's on a video call, and I point the phone at the screen.
Right.
And then he's got a microphone at his house. I've got one at mine, and we record that way for now. But previously, we'd play the game, and then immediately I just load it into Final Cut, and we'd watch it back and record the commentary that way. Yeah.
Wow. That must again in itself take a little bit of time and kind of effort to do, especially from your end if you're the one that's holding up the phone to the screen, etc. That must be a bit of a
Well, it was my birthday recently, and one of the presents I got was a little phone arm that can hold the phone on my desk, which has been a great help. It's most of it's done at my end, I suppose, because I do all the editing and everything. I mean, it's what I do for a living in a slightly different way, but I've got all the gear here. So so me and Elliot record, and then I tend to edit it all and do everything at this end.
Yeah. So your channel, as things stand, 21,600 odd subscribers.
Yep.
An incredible number. The views on the videos are continuing to kind of pour in. Realistically, once you get back into real life and all of this lockdown stuff is kind of finished, now that you've kind of had this opportunity to explore YouTube like you never have done before, is it something that you want to continue with doing?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I'm fully into it. I'm loving it. Elliot is as well. It's just so much fun. And it's really nice that we've built a bit of an audience, and we really, really appreciate everybody who tunes in and interacts. And so we'll definitely continue with it going forward for sure.
Definitely. I'll tell you what, let's do some Twitter questions, because I've left a lot of stuff out so that you can answer some of these guys' comments, if that's all right. Let's start off with where's the first question? We've had actually some coming in whilst we've been chatting, actually. So I'll tell you what, let's start off with Rapids, who says, have you always known Elliot was insanely good at impressions, or was it something you discovered through the series?
No, I've always known he's been good. I mean, we haven't known each other for relatively that long. I guess it's probably 4 or 5 years that we've been mates. But he is just a hilarious person to be around, and he always sort of goes into impressions and stuff when we're hanging out. So I've always known he's been good at impressions. And it's a real pleasure to have him, doing it on the channel and working with him.
Just on a side note, or just an extra question I want to ask you. Do you do any of the impressions, or are they all him?
No, they're all him. I'm
They're all
terrible
him.
at it's all Elliot. Yeah, he's a genius. He's absolutely amazing, and yeah, so all the credit for all the impressions. I mean, I'm basically just being myself when I'm commentating. So
Right.
Elliot's the real genius behind the commentary.
We've had Ifti who's asked you your favourite footballer, both in real life and in-game celebrity. Now, obviously, we've answered the real life one. So, who is your favourite footballer in the in-game celebrity?
Oh God, that's a good question. I think from the original videos that went mad, Raoul Moat was always a bit of a don up front. So he'd be up there. In terms of who's in the World Cup, I don't know. I mean, there are some players sort of write jokes for themselves as we go along. So Neymar
Yeah.
was in the squad for Brazil, and that was always funny. Um, yeah, and then from the Celebrity FIFA Cup, obviously Gary Glitter was
Yes.
the hero of the hour. So
Yes.
I think he'd have to be up there, although Alan Smith would not be happy with me saying that.
I'll tell you what, the one that absolutely had me today, honestly, I had to pause it and compose myself, was the Oscar Pistorius line.
Yeah.
Where if you haven't listened to it, I believe the joke is about the fact that he's made a tackle and he's not used to having such long legs, and you two just burst into laughter. And so did I. Honestly, I'm not joking. I had to pause it. My wife was just like, "What the hell are you laughing at?" I was just like, I just need a few moments. I just need a few moments. That was absolutely, that killed me.
Yeah,
Absolutely killed me. I don't know how you guys come up with this kind of stuff on the spot.
it does get quite close to the boundary sometimes. I think I was having a conversation with my dad yesterday, and he was like, "The Oscar Pistorius joke was one too far for me."
Really?
But yeah, it's something it's a funny thing with the jokes because we try to be completely non-discriminatory in that we just make fun of everybody.
Yep.
So I'm very much a believer that I think you should be able to laugh at everything. I think it makes life much easier to cope with, especially now
100%.
and everything that's going on. So we just we try to make light of it. Like I say, a lot of the stuff we come up with on the spot, and even a lot of the jokes, especially that I make because I'm dumb. I don't even intentionally make. There's one really bad one where in the Celebrity FIFA Cup final, I said that Hitler gassed past somebody, and I genuinely did not mean to even make that joke. It was just a phrase I used. So there's a lot of them. Yeah, they kind of spring up, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not sure I should have said that.
Yeah, it's like Osama bin Laden bombing down the wing. It's just
exactly.
like,
Yeah. I know.
no, he didn't. No.
I know, but like I say, with a lot of those, their phrases, like it's a turn of phrase I would have used anyway to describe something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does get a bit close to knuckle, but we absolutely don't mean to cause any offense by any of the videos and any of the people referring to. We're trying to make some comedic entertainment out of stuff. And so if we do offend anybody with the jokes, we do wholeheartedly apologize. But it's
I think, to be honest, the type of audience you've got, they want to hear those type of jokes. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't make those jokes, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, that was a bit of an off episode."
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, it's funny, but yeah, like I say, we never try to do it in any sort of malice or against anybody in particular. We're just trying to have a bit of fun.
That's fair enough. We've got Lenny Teague, I believe that is. He says he's answered or asked two questions. Where did you first get the idea for Celebrity FIFA, and who do you think will win the Celebrity World Cup?
So the idea first came, it's like I was saying, me and my stepbrother years and years ago used to create teams of ridiculous players on Pro Evo on the PS2. So yeah, a lot of the characters actually from Hell FC have been in and around squads I've made on games for years. So I suppose that was where the idea first came about, and then knowing Elliot and being mates with him and knowing how good he was at impressions, it was sort of an idea that we both came up with, that we could combine the two and make it into something, which is fun. And who do I think is going to win the World Cup? I have no idea. There's a beauty about doing it because we actually don't know who's going to win. I think any of the teams could go and do it. Being English myself, it would be amazing if England could bring it home, but we shall see.
I'm sure Alan Smith would love it
Oh yes,
if England won, but it doesn't matter who well goes on to win it overall, because whoever wins that current game is favourite to win the tournament. So
that's right. Yes.
Letty also asks, will you ever do a face reveal?
Yes, at some point. I think it's something that people ask me in the comments quite a lot, and I think I said to somebody, if we hit 100,000 subscribers, I would do a face reveal. So there you
Nice.
go. 100k sub will reveal our faces.
There you go. Hopefully, my tiny army of fans of just over 1,000 subscribers will go over to your channel, which will help you boost up a little bit. Although it won't probably scratch the surface, but there we go. So yeah, cheers, Lenny, for those couple of questions. They were good ones. We've got Samuel Durnley, who said, "Where did you first get the idea?" I suppose we've kind of already answered that question in terms of the channel. Let's move on to Drew Kendall, who is a regular subscriber to my channel. Cheers, Drew, for getting involved once again. He says, if you could pick any celebrity he's used in his celebrity FIFA tournaments to play football with for real, who would you pick?
Oh, that is a good question. I don't know. I've always had a real soft spot for Lethal Bizzle for some reason. So I think
Thank God you didn't answer anybody from Hell FC.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
real soft spot for Ralmo. Yeah, Ralmo.
I think having a kick around with Bizzle would be hilarious and wonderful. So yeah, maybe him. And then I suppose on a legendary point of view, because obviously in each team we include one legend, having a kick about with Ronaldinho would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I tell you what, being a Suffolk boy myself, I'd love to have a kick around with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Just to talk all things Suffolk. I wouldn't even ask him about his music. I just want to know, like, where's his favourite places to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be pretty awesome.
It's been a good one through the tournament.
Jack Carroll asks, what team do you support? We've already kind of answered that, as a Manchester United fan. And what are your FIFA 20 plans? I suppose we already are on FIFA 20. So kind of, have you got kind of any ideas about moving forward? What you kind of plan on doing, I suppose, after the tournament ends?
We do, yes. Very exciting.
You won't reveal them
just yet. Yeah, we've got some very exciting plans. So I think we're planning on, after the World Cup, just sort of doing a few more of the kind of one-off games, so on a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And, then we'll be resuming with a new series, which we'll reveal in times to come.
Definitely. We have got Romesh Bellucci. I'm sorry if I've pronounced your name horribly wrong. I really do apologise. How long have you two known each other? Which I'm guessing he's saying is yourself and Alan. So you've already kind of answered that. We said about 4 or 5 years. You said.
Yeah. So both our wives. We are both married, incredibly, considering how immature we are. But so both our wives have known each other for years. They were friends since secondary school. And so I first met Elliot through my wife and her friend, and I guess probably 4 or 5 years ago now. So that's how long we've known each other. And then Elliot was in Canada for a couple of years with her up until recently, which was heartbreaking. But we did go and see them on a little trip, which was wonderful. So 4 or 5 years, I suppose, we've known each other now, but it feels like a lifetime.
Just think, if your wife's hadn't have introduced you to, the channel would never be to the point it is. So you've got them to thank, really.
Alan Smith and Gary Glisser would still be friends, maybe.
There you go. We've got Josh _Moore, who asks, how weird was it going back to the channel after 2 years because of a Twitter clip?
It was quite weird. More in the timing than anything else. Like I was saying earlier, it's a funny one. It seemed like it was almost meant to be the way it all kind of arrived at that time. And honestly, I just loved it. Looking back at the old videos and stuff, it's never been something that I've wanted to stop doing. I just sort of have to, with work and life and everything.
Yeah.
So to have the opportunity to do it again is really wonderful, and I'm enjoying every second.
Fantastic. We've got Philip, who's got the at of Loris Edition, which is a brilliant name. How did you come up with Celebrity FIFA back in FIFA 18? Well, again, we've kind of already answered that particular question. What kind of years do you remember making the teams way back when, before FIFA 18? What game did you say it was on?
It would have been on one of the old Provos. It was either on the PS2 or the PS3. And my stepbrother would often come to stay for a couple of weeks at a time, so we would create a team and just go ham on a Master League. I don't know if you ever played Provo back in the day, but it was a great game. So yeah, I mean, that would have been on Provo 2008, 2009, maybe, I suppose.
Wow.
So we've been doing it for a while.
Mental stuff.
Yeah.
Mental stuff. We've got the final set of questions comes in from John McGrath. He asks, who are your footballing heroes? Also, which comedians / performers? So I suppose really from that perspective, that would be more of a question for Elliot in terms of,
I guess so.
Performers. But kind of, I mean, in terms of a YouTube perspective, who did you kind of watch before, right before you jumped onto YouTube, first of all?
A whole load of people. I mean, obviously, I think it'd be stupid not to say KSI back in the day. He kind of was the flag bearer for the whole FIFA thing. I love his stuff. In terms of who I watch now, there's a great YouTuber called Cutsy who I really enjoy. He's been a big inspiration behind a lot of the stuff. So he's awesome. I'm trying to think of other YouTubers. I like, speaking of Football Manager, there's a guy called Dr. Benji who I watch.
Oh, yes, the king.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Absolute king.
Yeah. So I love all that sort of thing, witty, kind of funny takes on YouTube channels around football video games are always my favorite. I'm going to look at my subscriptions now and tell you. I mean, Stephen tries from a comedy perspective.
Yes, yeah, good shout.
Is well up there. I went on an absolute binge watch of Palmer's FC recently. I don't know if you ever.
Yes. Oh my days. Yes. Yeah. Good shout.
YouTube channel. It's a shame they've stopped uploading quite regularly, but Palmer's FC, awesome stuff. Great football content, Sunday League stuff. If nobody's watched it, then definitely go and check it out. Chris MD, I've been really enjoying. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Just hilarious. He went extremely viral recently as well. I don't know whether you saw his the video of his cat making all those saves.
Yes.
But that was really funny. So yeah, all those sorts of people really.
See, I've got two accounts that I use. I have the DeeJam one, which is the one obviously which we upload to.
Yeah.
Which I have a load of people that subscribe to, but it's all football related. It's all either FM, or people who do live commentaries, but things like the kickoff that True Geordie does, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, True Geordie.
Obviously yourself, goes without saying. Then on my own personal one, I subscribe to really random stuff on my personal account. Like, obviously nothing to do with football. But there's one I watch, which is what's her name? Ellen and Neil, who does like crime documentaries and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't know.
And it's just like really random stuff, and I have absolutely no idea why. But my interests on YouTube vary from day to day.
Yeah.
So one mood I'm in the one day I'm in the mood for FIFA and Football Manager, and then the next I'm just like, I just need a break from that.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, my subscriptions go far and wide as well. I'm a huge fan of the slow mo guys. They're the best.
Yes.
I really like Joe Weller's new podcast called Waffling. That's great fun.
Do you know what? I only discovered that because of KSI. I didn't even know he was doing one, but I have subscribed to that. I need to start watching some of those, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good. It's hilarious. Really like that. Speaking of sort of FIFA football YouTubers as well, FNG I subscribe to. He's great. Niran, he's really good. But yeah, I suppose my subscriptions go far and wide on the old YouTube as well.
100%. John also adds on to the end of that comment. He said, I find the banter and off-the-cuff remarks in commentary even funnier than the fact that Mother Teresa is lobbing it over Jimmy Savile,
yeah.
which is brilliant.
That's nice.
Yeah, incredible. I've just got a couple of kind of final questions I want to ask you, really, in terms of the channel. Do you have, I suppose at this point, are you kind of still in that bubble of enjoying making, editing, uploading the video, seeing the reaction side of it, that targets and goals of where you want this channel to go and grow into? Have you kind of even begun to think of those kind of things? Or are you still in that early stage, in that early bubble like many are on YouTube, where you just like, I don't really care, I just want to enjoy the process of making a video and watching the reaction from that?
Yeah, a bit of both, I think. I guess it's only natural for something that goes viral to, I suppose, somewhat plateau as time goes on. In a funny sort of way, which I guess you're kind of seeing that with the views on the channel now. But I do think about the future and where things want to go a lot, and I really do want to make a success of it all. So it's a bit of both. I absolutely love making the videos, and like I was saying, it's great that this has given us an excuse to continue making them, because it's just something that we both really enjoy, and it's so much fun. So on one hand, yeah, I guess we don't really care about the views and all that sort of thing, because it's just great fun watching, great fun making the videos. But I do really want to have a long-term future for the channel, and for things to keep growing, and to keep providing entertainment for everybody, because I think that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed, is seeing comments from people who are saying that it's really helped them, getting through this weird old time in the world.
Yep.
And all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a bit of both. Absolutely loving making the videos and still definitely riding that wave, but thinking about the future and definitely wanting to continue going and making a success of things as time goes on.
Yeah. Is it, I mean, I know this is probably, a little bit into the future, but could you ever see yourself with this being your full-time kind of job? Because I know we're at the very early stages of you launching the channel again, so to speak.
Yeah.
But is that something you've even kind of contemplated at this point, or is it far too early to even be thinking about that?
It would be amazing if it could become a full-time job. It would be absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm very lucky that I do something that I really enjoy also as a full-time job. So having this alongside it is a wonderful bonus. But yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't ever want this to become full-time, because it would be a wonderful, privilege to be able to make stupid FIFA videos for a full-time job. But we'll see where things go. I'm very happy with things and how they're going along, and really happy with the audience and everybody that's coming along to the channel and subscribing. So yeah, fingers crossed we can continue to grow, and we'll see where things take us.
And final question from me then. In terms of working with somebody like Elliot that off camera, what are the advantages and what would you say are the disadvantages of working with somebody that you know quite closely? Because I have a very similar situation where Adam, who works a lot on this channel, is literally down the road from me. I could be at his house in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know all of the, I know about all of the advantages and disadvantages, but what would you say are the main kind of pros and cons about working with someone that you know?
Yeah, it's a good question. There are definitely both. Advantages, obviously, is that we know each other so well and we get on so well that there's never any issues, and we're both just really enjoying it, and it's really good fun. And it's nice that we can just sort of bounce ideas off each other. And because we hang out so much anyway, it gives us a chance to come up with ideas and all that sort of thing. But like I say, on the other side, it starts to become all we talk about sometimes. And so I mean, Elliot's definitely been saying that it'll be nice to, especially when lockdown's over, that we can just all get together with our wives as well and have a dinner party like we used to, and just sort of hang out as friends rather than SONAGE Gaming and Alan Smith every now and again. But it's mainly positive for me, because like I say, Elliot and I are such good friends. It's such great fun. And it's actually been a really lovely way of us also connecting, even though we're not able to see each other through lockdown, because we speak to each other every day about stuff on the channel.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we were recording the semi-finals earlier today. So yeah, very exciting. I don't know when this is going out, but as of recording, the England semi-final will be going out tomorrow on the channel. So
Right.
yeah, so it's really nice to have that point of contact. But definitely once lockdown's over, we're gonna get together and have a few beers and
Yeah.
a bit of a chill for sure too.
100%. Well, I honestly really appreciate you coming on the channel and talking to us this evening. It's been when I was kind of thinking of the guests that I wanted to bring on, and we've had a lot of ex-pros and we've had a few YouTubers come on, etc. When I sent the message out to you, I thought there's absolutely no way he's going to reply. He's probably inundated with loads of messages. He probably gets this all the time. And when you reply saying, "Yeah, I'll come on," I said to Adam, I was like, "Oh my God, I've only got SONAGE Gaming on." He was like, "You are joking." I was like, "No, honestly, I've got him on." I don't know how the hell I've managed to pull this one off, because I sent your clips over to him and he now watches you religiously. And I told one of my other mates who I sent the clips over to, he was just like, "Oh, that's going to be amazing," because the growth that your channel has had in such a short period of time, it's just been fascinating to watch from not only the video side of it, but from somebody who's in the YouTube game as well, just watching the growth of the channel, which has been absolutely amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I appreciate being asked. It's been great fun coming on. And yeah, well, anytime you want another guest, I'll happily come back.
Happy days. But if you are a channel member of mine, a subscriber of mine, the link for SONAGE's channel will be in the description. Go and check it out. Watch the early videos to get a flavor of what is to come. You will not be disappointed. The humor in there is fantastic. The one-liners are amazing. Honestly, just go and check it out. It's such a brilliant channel. Even if you're not a massive fan of FIFA, just go and listen to the commentary, because that in itself will be absolutely amazing. You will never, ever, ever be able to watch a real-life game and hear Alan Smith in the same way. I can 100% guarantee it. But yeah, links for SONAGE's Twitter and his YouTube channel will be in the description below. So go and check that out, guys. Really, really appreciate you for all listening. And again, SONAGE, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Really, really appreciate your time.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks very much for having me.
No worries. But until next time, guys, as always, adios.